morning. It's super early and we're on our way to our next Florida adventure at Morikami Japanese Gardens in Florida, in Delray Beach. Welcome to Pammie Plus Parks. I'm Pammie, your plus-size fairy godmother, bringing you all the magic that Disney and Florida has to offer plus-size people. And today we're not at Disney, but we are in Florida on a Florida adventure. We're going someplace I've wanted to go for the last couple of years. It's Morikami Japanese Gardens and Museum in Delray Beach, Florida. We got up super early this morning because we want to get there when it opens at 10 a.m. and we live about 4 hours away on the other coast. And right now we're just enjoying a nice leisurely drive, watching the sunrise, and I don't know, in a little bit we'll stop for breakfast and we'll take you along with us on our trip and we'll explore the gardens and maybe even have lunch there. Okay, so a few hours have passed. We've actually driven quite a ways and we actually stopped and had breakfast and we did a pit stop and we're now on the very famous Alligator Alley. And really this is just on either side of the road is a lot of like Everglades and trees. Yeah, trees and stuff. And then what did we pass recently on the left side of the road was the, what was it called? The
Florida Panther Center, I don't know, something like that. something to do with the Panther.
It was the Florida Panther Refuge Center or something like that. So this, we're kind of keeping our eyes peeled just in case. You never know, you might see a Florida Panther hanging out on the side of the road, hanging tough, as Mark would say. You never know. So we're going to keep our eyes peeled for wildlife and stuff. We'll probably be there in like another hour.
According to the GPS, an hour and 21 minutes.
Hour and 21 minutes. We'll check back in with you. I don't know why, but Mark seems to just love going to rest areas, so that's what we're gonna do.
This should be a full-service rest area. What is this junk? This is a rest area?
How is this a rest area? Where's the bathroom? That's like a hut.
Dude, come on.
No. That's not a rest area. I got all excited. How is that a rest area? It was just like a hut with some maps in it.
Talk about full service.
What are you supposed to do? Use the maps as toilet paper and like hide behind the hut?
That's not a rest area. Although I like rest areas. They're always like cultural in a way. You can kind of figure out what, you know, is cool about an area based on the rest area, you know. But that was nothing. That was like a hut with a bunch of garbage in the street, as you saw. It got me excited for nothing. The only thing that now that can salvage this trip down Alligator Alley is I see a panther.
It's the middle of the morning.
I know, it's the middle of the morning. I'm not going to see one. It's 10 o'clock. I'm not going to see a panther, but I want to.
If we go this way on the way home, we might see a panther. How excited would you be if you saw a panther?
That would just make my whole entire week. Because I want to see a panther. I'd like to capture a panther.
What?
Make it a pet.
You have 4 cats at home and a dog.
And then I can have a panther and I can put a saddle on its back like an He-Man. I can ride it around.
Oh, my face is all red from laughing. This is what I live with every day of my life. Isn't it majestic? This is what our conversations are like on these road trips, though. He talks about crazy stuff like riding on panthers. And it's fun.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, really, what else are you going to do? Not talk to somebody?
Oh, no. I mean, of course you talk to them, but it's just your subject matter is very unique and entertaining.
Well, what would you do if you got a panther?
I wouldn't capture it. I would try to like keep it in the wild.
help. That's why I'm going to get a panther plate.
What do they need help with?
They just need my money.
They need your money.
I mean, they obviously need help. They keep running in the street.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. No, yeah, they do keep getting hurt, but like, I would use the money to like create a preserve for them that's a little more secure. The way you say it, you make it sound like you're gonna take them to Target to go shopping.
Well, what else is my license plate money supposed to do? I have a dolphin plate now. Dolphins don't need my money anymore. They're doing just fine.
They're doing fine. Dolphins are doing just fine.
They are.
What do they have, like a nice condo or something?
You know, they can start off in Tampa Bay, then they can go vacation in the Bahamas when they want. Everything's all good for the dolphin. They don't need my money anymore. The panther does.
Panther needs your money.
So I got to figure out. They keep, you know, last time they renewed my plate, I just got another dolphin plate. I want them to switch to a panther plate.
Panther plate, so they can go to Target.
Just so they get some money.
Get some money to do what they need to do.
I don't know. I'm guessing that if it's anything like a dolphin plate, there's some organization that gets a little bit of the money, and then it helps the dolphins or the panthers, like it did the dolphins.
Okay.
I had a dolphin plate for like 20 years, and look, they're doing just fine.
That's your weird dolphin plate.
Me and everybody else who has one.
All right, that is excellent. So if you live in the state of Florida, get yourself a Florida Panther plate. Panthers need your money. Okay, so we actually stopped a couple more miles down the road, and we did find like a real rest stop. And I'm actually seeing a vulture under one of these picnic areas. I'm gonna see if I can get it on camera for you. So this guy hanging out here around the trash can is a vulture. We have vultures all over the place in Florida, and any place along the highway you're going to see a lot of them too. But look, I just think it's so interesting that this vulture is hanging out in basically a picnic shelter at a rest stop. Oh, hey. Well, I don't think I'm going to tempt fate any further than I have. I feel like I've gotten as close as I want to get to the vulture. Woohoo! I'm just going to head off. Well, that was a really interesting rest stop experience. The rest stop looked really small from the outside, but inside it was huge, and there was actually an entire tour bus full of people in there. They were retired folks headed down to Miami to go on a cruise. So we got to meet some of them and talk to them, and they were interesting, fun people. But we also got to see that incredible vulture. Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah, it was cool.
We're sure to pull onto the highway here. But you never know what you're gonna see when you go to a rest stop. That's why we like to stop at them. And sometimes you see wildlife like vultures.
Dude, that's a fucking iguana.
Oh my gosh! Street. Oh my gosh, there's an iguana in the middle of the street as we're entering the park. That is crazy, look at him go. Here's the entrance, go straight it says. That is so wild.
I haven't seen one that big since in Mexico.
I know. We barely even drove on the property and we already saw our first wildlife. Oh my gosh, there's more iguanas on the side of the road. They're just sitting there staring at us. Hanging tough. We're only at the entrance and I'm already impressed. The building is huge and they've got this gorgeous waterfall garden right behind me. I can't wait to see what's inside. Apparently this museum has an extensive number of exhibits of Japanese culture, and then the gardens are supposed to be really gorgeous too. This is the lobby area where you check in and you buy your tickets. You can see already outdoors there's a gorgeous garden there. Over here to the right of the entrance is a theater with a 6-minute film that kind of explains the history of the museum and gardens. You want to make sure to catch that 8-minute film that kind of tells you about the history of the museum and the gardens. It's really fascinating. The history of this location goes back 100 years, actually more than 100 years. Definitely go in there and watch it so you can get the full appreciation of what you're taking in today. Also, those theater seats are quite comfortable. If you are a plus size person, you can sit on the edge of the seat and scoot back and be very comfortable. All right, if we go out this way, we're gonna go to the cafe. There's Mark, he's already waiting for me. We actually decided to sit outside to have our lunch, even though it's a scorchingly hot day, because it's undercover, there's lots of fans, and it's actually pretty comfortable, and we have an absolutely gorgeous view of the gardens. You should keep this in mind when you're planning on eating in the cafe. You need to pay admission to come into the museum and gardens in order to have access to the cafe. So you can't just come here and eat in the cafe. And admission for adults is $15. Let's take a look at their summer specials. Everything in the cafe has like a pan-Asian flair to it. So they have a pick your poke bowl, tuna, salmon, or a mix, summer rolls, cold tofu, soba noodles, and boba tea. Let's have a look at the regular menu. A lot of small plates and starters. Edamame, egg rolls, Asian eggplant, red shrimp, and golden tofu. We have pork or veggie dumplings, noodles, crab cakes, tempura. Looks like they have a lot of soups and salads and sides as well. And they have bento boxes, vegetarian and classic, as well as sushi, sashimi. They also have regular cooked lunch entrees of crispy pork, teriyaki chicken, crispy chicken, eel. Ooh, I haven't had eel in a long time, and I love eel. Teriyaki salmon, tender beef, and mahi-mahi. This is actually a really extensive menu. They also have sushi rolls. Lots and lots of sushi rolls. They have some kids menu items, desserts, a variety of beverages, and beer, wine, and sake. I noticed that some of the tables have arms on the chairs and some of them don't. It's about a 50-50 mix. I know that I always feel more comfortable in a chair that doesn't have arms. I didn't ask for it, but they just happened to seat us at one. But don't feel weird about asking for a table that has chairs without arms if you're more comfortable in that. Mark ordered the miso soup. Go ahead and show us what it's like. There's like big pieces of tofu, some seaweed, and scallions. Yeah. That looks really good. It's yummy. I ordered one of my favorites, gyozo. This is pork. These are pork steamed dumplings. Okay. Those are really good. Tastes really, really fresh. Mark has never had one of these dumplings before, so he's gonna try it and see if he likes it.
Quite frankly, the skin on the outside grosses me out, so I don't know if it's good or not. Let's see. Texturally, to me, it's gross, but flavor-wise, it tastes really good.
You can get these dumplings fried or pan-seared, so they're a little crunchy on the outside, but I like them steamed, so it's soft. It's like a soft pasta. It's almost like an Asian ravioli, and it's delicious. Wow, that looks so beautiful. It's a dragon roll. Your food looks so yummy.
Yeah, your salad looks really good.
My salad does look really good. Look at this gorgeous Asian salad. Tomatoes and cucumbers, carrots, cabbage, a marinated chicken, and there's a little dressing on the side as well, so you can add that in if you want. Awesome. Is there shrimp in the dragon roll? And you got a little avocado on the top and cream cheese. A lot of avocado. I'm gonna see if I can get the perfect bite of chicken salad with a little bit of cabbage and carrot and lettuce and chicken. Very tender white breast meat chicken, and it's marinated in kind of a ginger sauce, but very, very mild and very delicious. My salad was really delicious. It came with a little side of dressing, but I never used it because what was on the chicken was perfect for the dressing for the entire salad, and it was really, really good. It was like a a very light sort of teriyaki ginger sort of flavor. It was just perfect. So I always get gyoza whenever we go out for Japanese food, and Mark never partakes, but he actually tried it this time and he liked it so much he ordered his own. I am trying something completely different that I've never tried before, and that's mochi, which is a kind of like ice cream. The exterior is sort of like a rice paste, and then there's ice cream inside. This one is mango flavored and this is strawberry flavored. And let's take a look at what this is like. Going for the mango flavor. Ooh, it's already starting to melt. I wonder if I'm supposed to just pick this up and eat it rather than... I think it would be easier to bite into. Well, that's not...
Dude, the rice paste on those is thick.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna try the mango first.
How's everything?
Very good.
So, the ice cream is delicious. It's really, really sweet. The rice paste on the outside also seems to have the same mango flavor. It's an unusual consistency. It's almost gummy, but then it dissolves in your mouth. I really like it. It's odd, but delicious. All right, now for the strawberry. That ice cream tastes exactly like very fresh strawberries. I like the strawberry a lot better. The mango is good. It was really, really sweet. Strawberry is perfect. I feel like that was the perfect summer lunch because it was light yet substantial. And that ice cream, the portions that I received of the mochi, they looked really small, and they were, but it was just the perfect amount of ice cream. It wasn't too much. And because they were so flavorful, it was really satisfying.
Plus that ice cream serving only cost $3.50. So it was a really good size for the price. Pam and I have done things like this before at other little type of places like this, and we'll walk out of the cafe spending a small fortune and we're aggravated afterwards. I don't think that's the case today. This was a good value for the dollar.
Okay, so this is our check. There's our total there. Not too bad considering all the stuff we ordered. We even got dessert. Look at this incredible view. What a beautiful day. It is definitely very hot and very sunny, but there's a little bit of a breeze, and hopefully these gorgeous gardens will provide a bit of shade as well. Let's get started on our adventure. So from what we understand, the trail that you walk along is about 7/8 of a mile, and it's all paved. I am going to check on that for you and make sure that's the case, but you are allowed to bring ECVs and wheelchairs in here and enjoy the entire trail. No joke, there's a lot of wildlife out here, and whenever you see water in Florida and it's fresh water, you're pretty much guaranteed there's an alligator somewhere. Let's see if we can go find some. Look at this absolutely gorgeous giant ficus. That little plant you have in the corner of your living room could grow to be this big, even bigger. Ooh, a little more wildlife. We got some turtles and some beautiful koi. There's actually more than one type of turtle in this water. As you can see behind me, there are some beautiful flowering trees, but there's not a ton of flowers in these gardens. Japanese gardening really doesn't focus on flowers as much as it does on greenery. So if you're expecting to come here and see tons and tons of flowers, you might be disappointed. But if you just want to see beautifully designed and manicured gardens, you won't be disappointed. This gorgeous plant, I have no idea what it is. I don't think I've ever seen one before, but it's beautiful. Some of the walkways here have this very fine sort of pebbles, but I believe you can still get a wheelchair or ECV over it. This scene is absolutely picturesque, including that handsome man crossing the bridge. Oh my gosh, this is just absolutely gorgeous. Down many of the paths there are secluded benches like this one that's right on the waterfront and has a magnificent view. Some of the trees do get a little bit of help. If you look closely, you can see that they've cut bamboo and they've used it to train the branches to get the tree in the shape that they want it to be in. That is absolutely fascinating. Training the branches must be the way they were able to attain this shape. That and very immaculate and particular grooming.
I'll tell you what has me impressed. If you guys can see them, but there are spiders all over the place. The spiders I'm trying to show you, they're easily with their leg span the size of quarters.
Holy cow, look at this incredible view with that sky and then the reflection of the clouds on the water. That is, I mean, what's more beautiful than that? You can actually smell this wood. It smells really, really good. Let's walk through. As you can see, they've thinned out some of the bamboo. I think that's to make sure that they are able to improve and ensure that there's a view for the benches. Also, some of that bamboo is used to help train the branches of some of the trees in the garden. There is indeed a great deal of shade. Look at these amazing berms they've kind of built from the shrubbery. It's like walking into a fairy tale land. Guys, this looks absolutely amazing. It's a tunnel. Let's walk through. Yes, indeed. This is like passing into a fairy tale land. This is so gorgeous. Oh, and look, they've used the bamboo to help kind of train these branches to create this tunnel. Quite literally off the beaten path is a rock garden. I know it's not actually showing up very well in the camera here, but this has been beautifully raked and maintained. It's very peaceful. So it is super hot. I'm not gonna lie, we are both sweating to death, but it is still a really, 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 really beautiful garden and park. And I'm really enjoying myself. We're seeing so many beautiful, beautiful scenes and really meticulously groomed gardens. And it's something very different than what you're used to seeing in a Western garden, which would be, you know, patterns and flowers and things like that. This is a bit more rustic and natural, but with a certain amount of control to it. It's very different and very peaceful. How are you liking it?
It's like my mom's garden when I was growing up.
So yeah, Mark's mom was a master gardener and she had an amazing yard that she maintained, and many of the plants that she grew in their yard are actually here in this garden. So
arranged in the same way, the same cuts. I didn't realize it as a kid, but coming in here and walking around and looking so far up to this point, the only thing that she wanted to do that she didn't have is where we're at now, which is where they have waterfalls. She always wanted to put in waterfalls, and she never did.
She would love this place for sure. She would go crazy. So it's nice to be here and think of her and her wonderful garden and all the wonderful memories with her. This is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it, but there's waterfalls everywhere through here. If we pull back, you can see that they feed out to these little streams. And I believe these are all man-made and man-created, and definitely a key feature to these gardens. Absolutely gorgeous. There's where the main waterfall feeds out to the beautiful streams that go down in a waterfall cascade. I know for a fact my filming is not doing this garden justice. And I feel really bad because it's completely amazing and deserves to be shot perfectly. It makes me wish I were a better videographer and makes me want to hone my skills and get a better camera so you guys can really appreciate the serenity and the beauty and all the work and effort that's gone into creating and maintaining this garden. Okay, something to keep in mind, there's just one water fountain that we've seen on the entire trail. Make sure to bring your own bottle of water with you. Just behind Mark, over the edge of this bridge, is the original museum, and this is a spot where there are a lot of koi in the water, and they let you buy bags of feed for $1 so you can feed them. All right, have at it. Ooh, look at them go! Ooh, even the turtles are joining in. Now, a few moments ago on the other side of this bridge, we spotted a gator. Maybe he'll come back for food.
You got that?
Yeah, I got him swimming up. Here comes your gator boy. Look at that, he's coming for the food. He heard you throwing food.
Right.
He's not going for the food though, that's weird. Just outside of the original museum is the bonsai exhibit. I'm just gonna truck around here and take a look at some of the beautiful trees. Check this out. They have like an automatic irrigation system for the bonsai. That's really cool. I think this part of the garden may be my favorite so far. This is just off the bonsai garden. There's this very quiet, peaceful, shaded, breezy place to view this gorgeous water fountain behind me. I really, really like this spot. So I'm sitting here across from the waterfall, and Mark was like, you look like you're gonna cry. And you know, I just was having like an emotional moment. I'm gonna try not to cry now. But being here so close to the anniversary of the passing of my mother-in-law at a garden that she would really have loved, it kind of feels like a little bit of a tribute to spend a little time here thinking of her and appreciating her and all of her talents and the wonderful person she was. So I'm glad we came here.
Look at this. He's just hanging tough.
Bye. Wow, this is beautiful. The original museum building houses the Gregerson Galleries. Let's have a look. This room houses the Yamamoto Colony, Pioneering Japanese in Florida exhibit. Now that 6-minute film that you see inside the theater tells a little bit of the story and gives you a general background of the colony, the Japanese colony that was founded in this area. But if you want a more detailed explanation and some additional photographs, maps, and documentation, this exhibit is a great place to get that. Some of the exhibits in these galleries show you a little bit of what Japanese modern life is like. Let's have a look at a Japanese bathroom. Just in case you needed a warning, this is not a working toilet, but it shows you all the special controls that would be on a Japanese toilet. Toilet slippers. That's what I call styling. Oh wow, look at this bathroom. This is literally a bathtub and a sauna steam room all in one. That's pretty amazing. You've got your shower head here, your tub there, you put a cover over it, and you can turn it into a steam room. That's amazing. If you step back here, you can see you close this glass door, and that helps you make your sauna. This is an example of a Japanese tatami room. It shows you how it's used, how linens are stored, how it's turned from a dining area or a living area into a sleeping area. Here you can see some Japanese toys. I think a lot of these are kind of vintage. This exhibit may have been here a while, but it's really cool to see some of the board games and toys, many of them the same that we have here in the US. Here they have an example of Japanese airline seats, and just to show you how small they are, they're about the size of a backpack. What you doing?
There's an iguana there.
Ooh, look at him!
Lounging by the...
See if we can get a shot of him here. Wow, he's a big one. He's not as big as that other one that you got, though. So the iguana seems to be, you can't see him right now, but he's coming around the bush. He seems to be coming to Mark. I don't know what it is about Mark, but he like attracts animals like nobody's business. Maybe I can get him if I go on this side.
Is he coming my direction?
He was coming around the bush. There he is right there. There he goes.
You're there.
Come to me. Come.
That thing is looking at you. Oh, check it out. It's cattails. Do you remember cattails?
Oh yeah. We used to as kids. And Pam and I both talked about this. We grew up around the same era, obviously, but in completely different cities. She and I, we used to take these things, and all of our groups of friends, you'd go to the local retention pond, lake, whatever you want to call it. And what you would do is you would have your little pocket knife, and you would cut these, and then you would take the brown part, which is basically a bunch of seed pods.
Let me go in tight on that and show you guys what we're talking about.
These are crusty. Usually they're not crusty like that. Usually they look like corn dogs on the end of a leaf.
They do. They look like nature's corn dog. Yeah, so this thing, let's see if I can get in here. This thing right here that you're seeing there, that brown thing, that is the end of the cattail. And when it's fresh and it's not dried out like that, it's very porous and it can hold water almost like a sponge. So you'd cut that off, soak it in water, and what would you do?
You and your friends would battle each other. You would hit one another with it, and you would leave welts all over. Now, what we would do was a little bit different. We would take, say, a smaller kid, and we would chase him around, and we would all welt on that kid. So they lay on the ground crying.
Oh, we did that too, though.
It was part of growing up in the 80s. And then after that kid was done and finished off, you would battle each other out. And whoever was left standing was like the cattail champion.
Cattail King!
And the city was okay with it because the kids would go and get rid of them because they're actually kind of junky to have in the water.
Yeah.
They're not good for the water. So, anyway, I haven't seen a cattail in forever, so we thought it would be funny to tell about cattail boys.
You know, our little cattail tale makes it sound like we grew up in the wilderness, and we didn't. We both grew up in Pinellas County in suburban areas that happen to have creeks. There's a lot of water throughout Florida everywhere, and these cattails were everywhere to be found. And, you know, we didn't have tons of toys and electronic games and stuff. We had a pocket knife and an imagination. We're back inside the main building, and there is another art gallery inside. However, the art exhibit right now is a brand new one, and they're just setting it up, so it's not available for us to see today. A couple of things that I recommend that you do. Make sure you call ahead on the day of your visit to ensure that the galleries are all open and the art is available for you to look at. And check and make sure all of the gardens are open and available. There were a couple of them that were shut down for us today, but the majority of the gardens were open and available, and it was a fantastic walk and a wonderful, wonderful time that we had today. I am kind of sad that the gallery isn't open and available for us to take a look at it, but you know, maybe another time. All right, we're gonna take a quick look in the museum gift store. It looks like it's pretty small. I'm wondering if it's anywhere near as extensive as the gift shop in the Japan Pavilion at Epcot. We are back in the peace and quiet and excellent cool comfort of our vehicle. Actually, let me turn on the seat cooler. And
that is an amazing blessing.
Yeah.
We have heated and cooled seats that massage you while you're driving. You gotta love it. It's good for making all these road trips.
It is, for sure. It makes it a lot more comfortable. So we figured we'd go ahead and give our basic overall review of the gardens. And for me, I think it was pretty much exactly what I expected, but then a little bit better. It was much bigger than I was expecting, and I thought it was much more raw and natural than I had expected. I also got, you know, I had an emotional moment inside when I was like thinking about my mother-in-law and like what an amazing gardener she was and how much she would have appreciated these gardens. And she passed away about 2 years ago, right around this time of year. So to be here at this time of year, I really had her very much in the forefront of my mind, and it was kind of almost like a tribute to kind of spend some time thinking of her. And what was cool is it's just, you know, to have that emotional connection to somebody that you miss. So I would say, for me, out of a 10, I would say this was maybe like a 7.5. I thought the food was pretty good, it was a reasonable value, and the experience overall was really nice. I thought it was a beautiful garden. I want to hear what Mark has to say though.
Initially, upon arriving, I'm really uptight about the way that a place is presented to me upon arrival. It was kind of a cluster at the entrance. The guy, upon taking my money, I mean, real quick to point out, no refunds no matter what. Dude, I'm gonna go look at some plants in a garden. Why would I want a refund? That makes no sense to me. Why are you harping on that? It's all over their website too. There must be something that goes on locally that I'm completely and totally unaware of where they gotta harp on no refunds. I look at a poster and it says something about no photography in the exhibit. So with Pam vlogging, I wanted to make sure that, you know, we weren't gonna run into any issues. So I mentioned it to a person. Completely unhelpful. They pawned us off on somebody else who's like, there's something about no pictures in the exhibit. It's professional photography. So who knows? You know what I mean? We went ahead and did it anyway. The exhibit that they were concerned about wasn't even open anyway, so it panned out. But Pam brought up a point where they're just volunteers. True, they are volunteers. But I can go to Lowry Park Zoo and there's volunteers, they know exactly what's going on. I can go to the Ringling Museum, they're volunteers, they know exactly what's going on. So right off the bat, rubbed me a little bit wrong. The restaurant, very pleased with the restaurant. The waitress was excellent. Good food recommendations from her. I kind of mentioned my thoughts on the value for the dollar for the food and everything. The garden itself, I gotta be honest with you. I grew up with my mom gardening. I was expecting something a little less like my backyard when I was a kid. So the garden for me, it was like, meh. And it was instantly recognizable to me. It's like, dude, this was like my backyard when I was a kid. But I will tell you, what just brought unending pleasure to my face was the freaking iguanas. The giant lizards. In all, initially I told Pam I'd say 6.5. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna knock it down to about a 5. Was it fun to be in the car with Pam? Was it fun walking around with her and doing what we were doing? Yeah, we always have a blast. But the destination this time, 5 out of 10.
So I think Mark made some really good points about the staff that was there. They were all very nice, but people really didn't seem to know what was going on. Mark had mentioned that he was aggravated a little bit by the fact that they right away told him, there were signs everywhere, and they verbally told him there's no refunds. And I think I know why, and I mentioned this when I was walking through the gardens. There may be people who have the expectation that they're going to go into these Japanese gardens and they're going to see like cherry blossom trees and flowers everywhere. And they did have some flowering bushes and flowering trees, but they don't have like tons of flowers there. Japanese gardens aren't about flowers. They're about the way that trees are grown and how they sort of train the trees to grow in a certain way. It's a way that they landscape and manicure things to retain some rustic natural factors to the garden, but just keep it sort of in check to a certain point.
To create zones of like peace and tranquility more than It's not an English garden. English gardens are about straight order and color.
Right. And you know, an Eastern style garden, a Japanese style garden is going to be very different than the concept of a Western garden. And if you don't go see the film before you go into the gardens, if you don't do a little reading on the website ahead of time and you just head in there thinking that you're going to be walking into something that's like Epcot, you're not going to get that, because it's like an authentic Japanese garden. It's designed by a Japanese gardener, a very famous one, and many of the gardens that are in there are actually sort of not exact replicas, but are done in the spirit of some very famous Japanese gardens. I think that would be why some people who aren't educated or understanding or knowledgeable of Eastern culture would go and walk around and go, well, this is just like going down to a park down the street. Well, it's not. It is very different, and a lot of work and effort does go into it. But if you don't have a trained eye or understand it, you might want a refund, because it's not a flower garden. I'm glad that we came because I connected emotionally there, and I had a lot of fun in the garden. And as always, road trips with Mark are fantastic. We always have the best time. Oftentimes the journey that we take to get to where we're going is as fun, if not more fun, than the actual destination. That's kind of the way we roll. Well, there you have it. Overall, it was a very enjoyable day, and I think we're both glad that we made the trip and tried something different and new, and we hope that you enjoyed joining us along this trip, and that maybe you'll take a trip down here and visit the gardens as well. But wherever you go in life, remember that life is a roller coaster. Enjoy the ride.